Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is the 13th of June, a Friday. I'm your host, Nadine Blaney. Well, the local market is set to open higher by about 50 points. Gold and energy stocks will be in focus after the overnight session sent gold higher, though energy did wane. Now, U.S. main indices closed modestly higher between 0.2 and 0.4%. after European markets closed lower for the fourth consecutive session on waning trade optimism. Oracle shares pushed higher on its annual revenue growth forecast. Newmont was one of the best performers after gold hit a one-week high, and Cardinal Health did well as well. Now, on the flip side, Boeing and Albemarle were amongst the worst performers, with Coinbase also on the list. And shares of U.S. airlines fell after the Air India crash. A 7878 Dreamliner crashed shortly after takeoff bound for London, killing more than 290 people. On the NASDAQ, Datadog and Constellation Energy led the pack, while Spotify, on an outage, was lower, Tesla and Warner Brothers as well. U.S.-listed shares of Novo Nordisk rose as it plans to start late-stage trials of its next-gen obesity drug, amycretin, while Moderna shares come under pressure as it looked for partners for certain vaccine studies. Adobe shares rose ahead of its earnings report, with analysts expecting higher revenue from strong spending on its AI-enhanced products. In the U.S., on the economic front, May headline PPI, or producer price inflation, was cooler than expected. Slowing domestic demand helped to restrain producer prices in May. Despite the tamer inflation readings this week, economists expect inflationary pressures to start building from June. Prices for durable goods, so those tariff impacted, rose for the third straight month. In contrast, fruit and vegetable prices fell. Separately, initial jobless claims were slightly higher than estimates at 248,000. That's an 8-month high and consistent with labor market cooling. The CME FedWatch tool has the probability the Fed sits on its hands next week at 100%, essentially unchanged from before the data was released. U.S. Treasuries rallied in price, putting pressure on yields. The U.S. 10-year was down 5.9 basis points to below 4.35%. Now, the U.S. dollar hit its lowest level of 2025, in fact, the lowest since April of 2022. It's lost around 10% of its value this year. Classic safe havens like the yen got a lift. Bitcoin struggled on rising geopolitical risk. And in the UK, GDP fell 0.3% in April, in keeping with the slowing global growth theme. Oil settled slightly lower as traders took profits from the previous session's rally. The U.S. is pulling personnel from the Middle East as tensions with Iran escalate. Brent crude was down 0.1% to $70 per barrel. Copper rose, iron ore fell, and as I mentioned, gold prices rose on rising geopolitical risks and on the cooler economic data. It's a quiet day on the economic front here. Tonight, we get Eurozone April industrial production, the trade balance, and in the U.S., the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. Well, that does it for the day ahead. I'm Nadine Blaney. We'll see you next week.